Good morning, Young County. It's me again. One second. I've done some digging. This time I dug up dirt on myself. And so I am coming on here to publicly apologize. And I want to tell you that I'm wrong about something. And we're not going to tell my husband that I'm admitting that. And he's on a top secret project on a military base without his phone today. So hopefully he won't watch this and see the admission of me saying I'm wrong about something. I was one of the ones, which I know there were a lot of us, one of the ones that thought Wayne Graham kept the data center a secret, that he was not transparent about it. And after the election, when I spoke to him, I said, you should have been transparent about the data center. And he humbly said, I was. I don't know what to do about that. I said, prove it. Okay. He provided me text messages, emails, Facebook posts. I went and through and read everything, and I put a timeline down. I will share this information, and I'm going to try to be quick in this video. Here we go. On February 10th, Wayne Christensen asked Wayne Graham for a meeting, and it says, would like to, can you meet anytime on February 18th? Would like to see if that's a good date for you before sending a formal email to all. It was more than just Wynn. It was city people too, but good or no good. Meeting is purely introduction. No formal proposals or requests yet. February 10th is the first time Wynn was invited to meet with the data center people for a meeting on the 18th. Wynn says, that's good. I'm available before noon or after 3:30. Wayne says, okay, I'll get an email out. They met on the 18th, and the email did go out from Wayne Christensen to everyone that attended, discussing, thank you for your time, thanks for being at the meeting, the benefits of what the data center could possibly do for Young County, written from Wayne to those people, okay? The meeting was on Tuesday, the February 18th, 2025. Wednesday, the very next day, at 4:57 p.m., at the end of the day, Wayne Christensen texts Wayne Graham, and says, I think we are close to buying the tract Stream wants to add. Can I ask you to put off talking about this until we get him signed, hopefully by Friday? Thanks. Okay, that raises concern, right? Wayne's asking Wynn to keep it a secret. What is Wynn's response on Wednesday, February 19th? Wynn says, I've already told the Olney newspaper. Well, he didn't say already. He said, I told the Olney newspaper today. I have to zoom in on this picture so I can read it. So within 24 hours of the meeting, Wynn was in Olney discussing some economic impacts with their economic board over there, and the Olney reporter was there, and Wynn is like, hey, yesterday I met with some people and they've got some great ideas, and it's, you know, maybe a good idea. It was all in discussion. Wednesday, 24 hours later, Wynn told the Olney reporter. He told Wayne, I told the reporter. Wynn says, I did keep the location, not expose the location. Let's see. Today, I told the Olney newspaper about the potential data center. I did ask her to keep the location secret. Location, not the data center. As I know, you were still buying the land. I used to be a realtor. I was a top realtor out at PK. And I think every single realtor in our county will agree with me. When you are negotiating a deal, Wynn's not negotiating the deal, but when there is a live real estate transaction, you don't disclose locations. You just don't. And that wasn't, Wynn had no ill intent. He told all about the data center to the Olney newspaper the very next day that he met with them. Okay? Wayne says, okay, maybe we get this deal done quickly. Fine. So that Saturday, Wynn usually does his newsletters on Saturday, right? Saturday the 22nd, February 22nd, 2025, that Saturday, the end of the week that he met with us. He met with the data center people on Tuesday. He told the Olney people newspaper about it on Wednesday. That Saturday, even though Wayne asked him to not tell anyone, Wynn wrote 4 paragraphs in his weekly newsletter about the data center. I met with developers of a data center who are considering a project in Young County that could lead to an investment of $13 to $20 billion. Yes, you read that correctly, billion. I lost my place. Sorry, one second. I lost my place on my screen. I don't want to ad-lib this, so. Yes, you can read that correctly, billion. The proposed data farm could involve the construction of 11 buildings, each costing $400 to $500. Additionally, the value of the personal property inside these buildings could range from $800 million to $1.5 billion per building. The developers estimate that the construction phase would require 2,000 workers and ultimately create 200 permanent jobs with salaries ranging from $80 to $150 each. Those are real numbers. I don't know where people were like, oh, they're going to bring 10,000 workers or something. No. From the very beginning, they said 2,000 workers for construction and a permanent of 200 jobs. And the range, the salary range, that's correct, 80 to 150. Furthermore, the location of the data center would fall within the taxing districts of both the Graham Hospital and the Olney Hospital, which would provide much needed tax revenue to both hospitals. I don't think any of us can argue that our hospitals need money. So Wynn was excited about that potential revenue. His last paragraph, while there is still a long way to go before the project is finalized, it presents an exciting opportunity for Young County and has the potential to offer significant property tax relief to our residents. Its potential, long way to go. He hadn't made any deals. They hadn't asked for any deals. 4 paragraphs in his weekly newsletter. I'm not done. Hold, please. 5 days later, I guess Mr. Wayne Christensen's kind of like me and didn't read the weekly newsletter. 5 days later, Wayne says, we got the deal done. We got the tract. I'm sorry, I'm ad-libbing. Let me zoom in on this. On February 27th, Wayne says, we have our offset tract in contract. You can tell the world. Mr. Wayne, he already told the world 5 days ago in his weekly newsletter on Facebook. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't read that. I'm sorry that I believed that he was not transparent. And I hope that our county will offer me grace. I still voted for him because I think he's the best choice for Young County. Because he's got a quick mind. He's young and I don't mean that like age-wise. He's young in his mind with creativity of solving problems with our county financially. He's got a lot of experience of making deals. And he's best for what's Young County. So I was wrong about him not being transparent. And I apologize. And I'm grateful that when Graham did not shun me, when I confessed to him, I was like, I didn't know. So before I put my foot in my mouth, I'm going to start reading his weekly newsletters. I also, when I had said to my husband, Wynn was not transparent about the data center, because Monty went to school with him, Monty said, Wynn's not a secret keeper. He would be too excited to keep something like that. And that's true. He did sound excited in his newsletter. So, I think he's got some exciting things coming out in the future newsletters. So I'll be reading every one of them from now on. And before I put my foot in my mouth, I got to go fact check. All right. Love Young County. Love you guys. Sorry the video was so long. I really needed to confess this.